What's up, chess player, and welcome to the Journey to Grandmaster, the place where you can improve every aspect of your chess game. Today, I want to share with you 3 things that every chess player regrets doing. Those principles would explain you the difference between a good chess player, let's say 1500 or 1800, or at whatever level your country are, and a great chess player, let's say 2300 rated player plus. Once you understand and master what I'm about to show you in this video, it's gonna change the way you look at chess forever. And believe me, you're not gonna want to get back because your new mindset would serve you tremendously well. So I hope you're motivated to change your chess forever. Let's get started. So first of all, I ask you to remove any possible distractions because this is something special. You're about to bring your chess to a completely new level. Tell your family members that you need a little bit of time for yourself. Tell your dog that you're gonna play in 15 minutes and let's focus on this puzzle. A very unusual position. If you do know from which opening it comes, let me know in the comments because I'm very curious to know how many people can recognize it. Now, it's very simple in terms of what you need to do. It's white to move. You need to find the best move. But please take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Even if it seems obvious to you, it's not obvious by any means. Meanwhile, I absolutely have to give the credit for this puzzle to Michael Adams and his amazing book, Think Like a Super Grandmaster. That is so useful, it just blows my mind. If you want me, by the way, to give you some book recommendations, make some book reviews, let me know in the comments if it's something that will be useful for you. So now I want to share with you the first mistake that so many chess players are doing and they regret it so much. Forgetting that you are not alone in chess. In chess, it's crucial to remember that you're not alone on the board. Ignoring your opponent is like playing hide and seek, but you're playing alone. Remember, they are gonna find you and it's not gonna end well. Keep an eye on their moves. It's not a solo performance, it's a chess duet. So your first thought of this position should have been, okay, I'm playing as white, what are the threats for me? And if you carefully look at it, you will notice that this bishop is attacking your opponent e3, and of course it's not something you can just ignore, you have to pay attention to it. Now let's try some moves that has been suggested here for white, but that are not that great. So first of all, king to f2. So many players have tried to use the king to defend this pawn, and the problem with that is that the king is really awkwardly placed here. It's vulnerable and it's not gonna get better anytime soon. Remember that black has a pair of bishops, and the best thing black can do is to open up the position. d5 is the easiest way to do that, and now this king is in trouble. You might try to close it with e5, but f6 eventually is gonna come, maybe knight c6 first. You can try knight f3, seemingly hiding your king behind the knight, but it's still gonna come f6 and then castles and then this rook along the f file. That's not the way you play chess. Like, if you even take, I can just castle, just sacrifice all of the pawns just to get to your king. It's all I need here. Knight x7, and yeah, you might try to continue the development defending the knight, but knight f5, this e3 pawn, your king is in big trouble, so king f2 is never a way you should go if there is something better. A lot of lower-rated players have tried here some queen moves, queen to f3 and even queen to h5. And that leads me to the second very important mistake that so many players, especially beginners and intermediate level players, are making in chess. Overcomplicate. Overcomplicated is such a classic mistake not experienced chess players are making. It's like bringing a bulldozer to a game of Jenga. You look around and suddenly you have got pieces flying everywhere. Remember, chess is a thinking game, not create a puzzle out of every chess position possible game. Keep it simple, focus on what's really important. So why queen h5 is not that great? So first of all, I can just take this pawn on e3 and it's not that convenient for you to handle it. You can play knight e3, which threatens to give a fork with knight to c4, but just queen c7, and this bishop is incredibly annoying, and losing e3 pawn is not gonna pay well for you. You can try some tricks like knight b5, queen takes c5, and in the best case scenario, you're gonna get something like that. I have no chance to take the c5 pawn yet, so I have to deal with the knight c7 fork, so I play knight to a6, and you have a chance to defend the pawn on c5 with a move b4, but still b6, the bishop is going here to b7, where it's gonna be just a monster, and thanks to a pair of bishops advantage, black is better here. After queen to h5, not only I can just take this pawn, I can also play queen b6, which not only defends the bishop, is also attacking the b2 square, and now you're in kind of trouble and you really need to be very creative to get out of it. Queen f3 might be a more logical setup here, trying to just protect the pawn, but once again, c takes d, very annoying move. Now you don't have a good choice to take. Well, you can't take with this pawn at all because of the pin, and if you take with the e pawn, then this queen is coming all the way to g5. And the problem is, you have this diagonal extremely weak, and you don't have a good way to deal with that. Knight d2 is not possible because queen takes d2 is a checkmate in 1. If you go back to d1, well, it's clear that something went wrong, and even a simple queen e3 check is good enough to secure a huge advantage for black. Before I finally tell you the best move for white in this position, I really want to share with you the third mistake that so many beginner, intermediate, and even experienced players are guilty of. It's not paying enough attention to the development. The development is the key of the opening and is the key to success in chess. You have to develop all of your pieces, not just a fraction of them. You have to develop it as fast as possible and as active as possible. I hope that is a very good hint for you towards the right move in this position. So that is knight to d2. We are developing a knight. Very important. We are connecting the rook and the queen. We are blocking this diagonal from a5 to e1, and we are defending the pawn on e3 tactically. Because if bishop takes on e3, that's gonna be very bad for black because of knight c4 fork, and now bishop is in trouble, you're gonna lose it and you lose the game. So not always if your pawn or your piece is hanging, you must literally just protect it. Sometimes there is a tactical solution that is still working, and at the same time you can improve your position a lot. Now, if your choice was to play knight a3, congratulations, it's also a pretty good move, but knight d2 is better because it's going towards the center. Remember, finding the most important square for all of your pieces. That is the key, and d2 is a little bit more active, a little bit more flexible. You also have some knight b3 opportunities. You also block this check, so that is very good. And knight a3 is a little bit more limited, so to say, but still a very good move. If that's your choice, you are on a very good track. Now, if you look at the position, knight d2 basically solves all of white problems. You can try to take on d4, but now we just take it back. Now our pawn structure is very good. The knight is on the right place at the right moment. It's going to go to c4 with a tempo. If you try to play d6, continue in your development, we can just bring the second knight into the game, and basically we don't have any problems anymore. Queen g5 here instead of d6 is also not a big deal because, well, we don't have that many weaknesses anymore. We can just continue with knight f3, this check. It's just one check. We can either play queen to e2 or even bishop to e2, no dangers at all, because everything is protected. We are in time, we have developed our pieces. That is why I'm always telling you that the development is the key, because once you bring all of your pieces together and your opponent is making so many moves with the same piece, you have a huge advantage in terms of how many pieces are taking part in the game from your side and from your opponent's side. Now, if you have found the right move, absolutely share it in the comments and please specify your rating. It would be incredibly interesting for me to know, because I myself somehow immediately started to think about knight d2, because that is how my mind works. I really want to develop those pieces first, and I don't care if I can go on with my queen. Only, of course, if it wins, then I will go for it, but otherwise, it's not the way I play chess. I really want to feel that all of my pieces are playing together, that they are interconnected, and that is what brings success. And I hope you have learned this today, and it's gonna change your mindset completely. Now you're gonna be focusing on the development first instead of trying to create this thread here and there, because it might backfire. It's important to do everything in the right order, which is development first, making sure your key is secure, and then go all in into the attack. Now, there is one strategic principle that, if used correctly, will add a minimum of 100 points to your rating. But it's very important not only to know it, but also to master it, so you can implement it in each and every one of your games. In this video, I tell you exactly what you need to achieve that. So let's improve your chess today.